North Dakota State offensive lineman Gray Zabel is the newest member of the Seattle Seahawks. Welcome in to this edition of Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. We will break down the selection of Zabel. I'll give you my grade, and we'll also look ahead to days 2 and 3 of the 2025 NFL Draft here on today's show. Before we do that, folks, this is only day 1. We had a heck of a time on our live draft show on Thursday night. If you missed out, no need to fear. We will be live again for day 2 and day 3 on the channel. And we're getting close to 64,000 subscribers, less than 400 away from reaching that next milestone for breakdowns of every single pick, in addition to our news and rumors, live shows, breaking news, Q&A mailbags, and more. You got to be subscribed. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/SeahawksTV, and you will be glad you did. So let's tell you about what happened in night number 1. A lot of surprises. We knew Cam Ward was going number 1 to Tennessee with the first pick of the draft, but then all hell kind of broke loose after that, with the Browns trading out of the number 2 spot. Travis Hunter goes to the Jags at 2, Abdul Carter to the Giants at 3, Campbell to the Patriots at 4, and then the Browns trading down from 2 to 5. They go Mason Graham, the defensive tackle out of Michigan. Pete Carroll, he gets his running back. We know he loves those running backs. He goes Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State at 6. Armand Membo, the offensive tackle from Mizzou, goes to the Jets at 7. And this one was kind of a sore subject for some Seahawks fans. A lot of talk going into this week was about Tetairoa McMillan, the Arizona wide receiver, and that he was rumored to be number 1 on John Schneider's big board. A bit of a shocker as he goes to Carolina at 8. Then Kelvin Banks went to the Saints at 9. Colston Loveland to the Bears at 10. Mikael Williams, the edge rusher from Georgia, to the Niners at 11. This one was a head-scratcher. Tyler Booker, who most people didn't project to even go in the first round, goes to the Cowboys at 12. Kenneth Grant to the Dolphins at 13. Tyler Warren to the Colts at 14. Jalen Walker, the edge rusher from Georgia, to the Falcons at 15. Walter Nolan to the Cardinals at 16. Shamar Stewart to the Bengals at 17. And a lot of good options for Seattle of who they could potentially have gone with there with that 18th pick. But John Schneider holds to his guns and goes with the much-needed offensive line option with Gray Zabel at 18. They talked about trading down. They waited to the very last second on the clock to make the move, but ultimately they go with Zabel there. Other picks included Emeka Ibuka, the wide receiver out of Ohio State, to the Bucs at 19. Barron to the Broncos at 20. Harmon to the Steelers at 21. Amarian Hampton, running back from North Carolina, to the Chargers at 22. Matthew Golden, who a lot of people thought could end up in Seattle, he goes 23 to Green Bay. The Packers actually choosing receiver first round. Wow. Then Donovan Jackson, the offensive lineman from Ohio State, goes to the Vikings at 24. Giants trade back into the first round, and they get their quarterback of the future, Jackson Dart, with the pick at 25. James Pierce, the edge rusher from Tennessee, goes to the Falcons at 26. Malachi Starks, safety from Georgia, 27 to the Ravens. Williams, the defensive tackle from Ohio State, goes to the Lions at 28. Josh Connerly Jr., offensive tackle from Oregon, goes to the Commanders at 29. Maxwell Harrison, corner from Kentucky, goes to the Bills at 30. Jahad Campbell, linebacker from Alabama, goes to the Eagles in a trade with the Chiefs. The Chiefs move down one spot, pick up a fifth-round pick, and they get Josh Simmons, the offensive tackle from Ohio State, there at 32. So a very intriguing night. The Seahawks get the guy that they needed. And it was one of those deals where you were the Seattle Seahawks where, sure, there was a lot of talented players to choose from. And you could have been tempted to go off the beaten path. But instead, John Schneider invests in a position that he has ignored for a long time in the interior of the offensive line, and he gets what I believe is the best interior offensive lineman in this draft in Gray Zabel. 6'6", 312, out of South Dakota, 23 years of age. And I know he played at the FCS level, but hear me out on this, folks. The grades were just really, really good. I don't care what level of football you're talking. this was impressive. A 90.4 overall grade. Pass block grade was through the roof with a 93.1. Run block grade of 86.5 and only allowed 1 sack this past season at North Dakota State. If he can make the transition, he's got all the makings to be exactly what this Seahawks team needed. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The one thing holding Seattle back from being a playoff team in 2025 is the offensive line, and they took a huge step forward with this selection. How would you grade the pick of Gray Zabel? I'll give you my grade in a moment, but want to hear from you guys. A, B, C, D, or F. Way in the comment section, let us know what your grade would be. My grade, I'm going with an A. I'm going with an A here. If you're going to go interior offensive line, Gray Zabel's the option. And I know he played tackle at North Dakota State, but there's some questions about his arm length. Should make the transition to the guard spot. And now you look at this offensive line for Seattle here, and I would think that he's going to slide into the left guard spot and should be your starter. And then whether you get another guard tomorrow or you have a competition with Bradford and Haynes and Lumea, you got some depth now that you could potentially work with and make this much more doable, make life easier on Sam Darnold, but not even just Sam Darnold, but Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. That should help improve your run game in the process as well with what Zabel brings to the table. I think this pick was very solid. It's hard to complain about this pick for the Seattle Seahawks. I think that John Schneider did exactly what he needed to do. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Recently, I went to an NBA game with the family, and we got our tickets last minute. And Game Time was able to provide us a great deal on tickets on short notice. The prices go down the closer it gets to when the event starts. You choose the event you want to go to. Maybe you can't go to an NBA game. That's fine. Maybe you want to go see the Mariners or the Sounders, whatever it may be in Seattle. You choose the event you want to go to. You got the prices listed. Choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not, and then boom, you're checking out on Game Time with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. And with Game Time, they have this feature, the low prices enabled feature, which allows you to invest more in buying food, drinks, merchandise, and more easily get a larger group to come with you on the money you're saving on tickets. Game Time's the official ticketing partner of Seattle Seahawks today, where their last-minute deals can save you up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater productions, and more. Game Time Picks makes last-minute ticket buying easier than ever by quickly highlighting the best deals in the stadium. They have their zone deals where you can save even more when you choose this section and let Game Time choose the seats. Their all-in pricing, toggling this feature, shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. They have their seat views where you can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. The lowest price is guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Game Time, proud partner of Seattle Seahawks today. Check them out. You'll be glad you did. More on Zabel. Our own Tom Downey believes that he is a center at the next level. I beg to differ. I think he'll play guard for Seattle. But with that said, he still had him as the number one center in this draft and the number 31 overall prospect. Plenty of run blocking experience, and he's very good in that department. Does have some length concerns, but I don't think Seattle's asking him to play the tackle position. That should be fine to play the guard spot. Plays with good quickness to offset those length problems, and could use some more weight to kind of help out with the power. He's not a finished product by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that he is one that you can be optimistic about. You look at Seattle now. You've taken care of the offensive guard position. And where do you go from here? Well, you have 2 picks in the second round, and you have 2 picks in the third round. And I think now, if you're Seattle heading into tomorrow, The wide receiver position is going to have to be addressed. And there's plenty of options for where you want to go with that. The center position, it's one of our needs here. I think Olu could use some competition. And at the very least, get some depth in the interior as far as that goes. And then the offensive tackle spot, something to think about as well. Abraham Lucas has had problems staying healthy. And Charles Cross, I like Charles Cross a lot, but you could use some depth at those spots. And I think about the edge rusher position as a possibility. You can never have too many pass rushers, corner, safety. You took care of the big thing you needed tonight. And now going forward from here, I think you're saying to yourself, okay, we checked off the big box now. Now let's take care of the little things. And there's a huge opportunity with 5 picks in the top 100, 10 total picks, that this team can take a significant step forward. It seemed like just a few weeks ago when this Seahawks team moved on from Geno Smith and Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, a lot of you were in panic mode and were wondering if this team was hitting the reset button and if they were going to rebuild. And I came on this program and I told you, no. That's not happening at all. This team is going to reload. And I think we saw tonight the fruits of the labor of this team starting to pay off, that they are reloading this team, and that this team has every reason to get back on track in 2025 in the second year of the Mike McDonald era. Tomorrow, I have an offer for you folks. If this video that you're watching right here gets 1,000 likes, then I'm going to get up, I'm going to hustle in the office, and we're going to do an updated draft targets video tomorrow for rounds 2 and 3. That sound like a deal? I think that sounds like a deal. Hit the like button, and I'll bring you that video tomorrow. For continuing draft coverage, subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. We're just getting started. Big weekend ahead. Lock us in. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Seahawks Today.